Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the PGM Show. I am your host, Sineti Mojo. This program is brought to you by The Perfect Guide for Mankind, sponsored by the Radisson Blu Hotel and Uzo Desmond Photography and Visual Arts. The PGM is an organization fashioned by God to help Africans succeed without corruption and injustice. Before I proceed further, however, I would like to allow my co-host, who is all the way from the Republic of Ghana, to introduce herself to you. Sia.
Thank you very much, Sine. My name is Sia Christiana James, a Sierra Leonean based in Ghana.
Beautiful Sierra Leone.
Thank you.
Yes, so ladies and gentlemen, the topic we are discussing today is how to succeed without corruption and injustice. We are all aware that corruption and injustice continue to ravage the African continent, and there is no way we can realize our potential in Africa if these two factors are not eliminated, or at least vastly mitigated. The poor are getting poorer every day, and the rich getting richer because of corruption. Qualified graduates from the university some of them have never once been called for an interview, just because they don't know anybody sitting on the panel. Poor people whose children have been able to graduate from high school, seeking for scholarships, are deprived of those scholarships because they are not relatives of those awarding the scholarships.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
It has to be either familiarity or this person is my family member.
That is the problem.
So that's the main issue. If you don't know this person in this organization, or you don't know this person in this community, you cannot be identified as a graduate, or you cannot be identified as somebody who needs help. So it's very, very, very.
Yeah,
very
it's very bad. It's very bad for the continent, and that is why even our recruitment processes are not making use of the best talent available. Because if we recruit based on familiarity, then we are ignoring the fact that the best person should be recruited, and that continues to, reduce the productivity of the continent as a whole. So it will not surprise me to even, learn that hundreds of Africans are drowning in the Mediterranean Sea as they seek to be enslaved in Europe and America. Before now, if you can remember, we are taken by the Europeans and Americans to be enslaved in their countries.
Yeah.
But now we are moving to be enslaved. We are moving to be enslaved. And at times you want to say, oh, these people, they are not doing something good. They are leaving the continent. But if they don't have any hope here, then they will go. They will definitely go. So that is why we need to try and change our continent, because nobody is going to come from elsewhere to change Africa. We as Africans must change Africa. Trust. Even in our country, Sierra Leone, 70% are living in multidimensional poverty. And it is so because of corruption. So we have to make this choice, this deliberate choice, to avoid corruption, to avoid injustice, and to change this continent. That it will become a better place for all of us. And we may not need to go to Europe and America to succeed. Let us change Africa. Let us work together to change the continent. I would like to allow you to talk on the subject of how to succeed without corruption. What do you think?
Yeah, we can succeed without corruption. As we all sometimes blame the government is not doing anything. But what are we also doing?
Exactly.
Because,
what are we doing?
We can't be blaming the government while we are not doing anything.
And
So
John F.
we
Kennedy
have to do something. As we have started, PGM is going to be a platform where we will sensitize all those youths out there who some of them don't even know what they want in life.
Yeah.
They don't even know why they are here.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be going door to door, talking to the kids out there, talking to the youth out there on how they should develop themselves. We should not only depend on government to come and do everything for us, but we should also do something.
Exactly.
At least when we start doing something, maybe someone out there will come in and try to help. Because if we say nothing, no hope for us here in Africa, then why the white people are coming here to get something out of Africa.
Exactly.
So I believe every human being also has something to offer to society. Let Africans learn how to believe in themselves. I read a quote that says, "Nothing binds you except your thoughts, and nothing limits you except your fear. Nothing controls you except your belief." So what we think, what we believe, and our fear can impact our lives either negatively or positively. Let no one make you believe you can't make it in life. You can be anybody you want to be, only if you believe in yourself.
Exactly.
And I know PGM is here to let every African child out there know all these things.
Yeah, that's a very good point here. And I can remember his saying from a former US president. He said, "It is not what America can do for you, it is what you can do for America." And that is the point. We should not sit down and say, "Oh, the government will have to change the issues that we face." At times we have to move out, we have to step out and help people. We have to do something. You know, if it is a business you want to go into it. If it's education, be educated. But we have to do something to change our lives. So I want to move on to the subject of success, because success has been misunderstood, and the misunderstanding has led to corruption and injustice. You know, most times what we do is we pursue success, and success is not something you pursue. It is something you attract by becoming somebody of value. The more valuable you become, the more the world will pay for you. Let us take, for example, let's take diamond and gold, for example. You know, we have placed so much value on diamond and gold, and we pay so much for them. Why? Because they are rare. You hardly see a diamond, and they are very useful. Because they use them to produce gold chains, and you know. So because they have so much value, we pay so much for them. So in other words, as a human being, why don't you make yourself like gold? Make yourself like gold, and society will pay so much for you. Because the more valuable you become, the more value you can attract. The more society will be ready to pay for you. And this is also linked with a concept called the law of attraction. The law of attraction says like attracts like. So for example, if you desire having a job where you earn $10,000, so you need to start thinking at first, which organizations can pay $10,000 per month? Okay, maybe UN, maybe World Bank. Okay. Then the next question will be, what kind of person do I need to become to attract the UN? You need to decide on that, and perhaps you need to even consider the qualifications that they look for. What kind of things does the UN look for in an employee? What kind of things does the World Bank look for in an employee? These are the things you should think about, and then you work your way towards that. So you have the necessary value needed to attract these organizations, and then you have the money. That is it. Because the UN cannot attract everybody. There is a level you should be that will convince the UN that you are their type. The law of attraction. Like attracts like. Another example would be, for example, in relationships. For example, I'll have a desire that I want a woman that is very educated. I want a woman that is very vibrant, outspoken, fluent, etc., etc. That is good. It is very nice. But the question is, what kind of man do I need to become to attract that kind of woman that I want? So it is not only what I want, but who I need to become to get what I want.
That's
so the law
true.
of attraction.
Yeah, that's very true. Just like a gentleman was saying that I want a humble woman. Like he went to the pastor and said, "Pastor, please pray for me. I want a humble woman." And the man of God said, "Are you also humble? If you want a humble woman, then you have to be humble." So it's very, very necessary. If we are blaming the government to do something for us, then what are we also doing? Let's try to do something.
Let's try to do something.
So that the government also do something for us. Let's try to add value to what we have.
Exactly.
In Ghana, you can see a carpenter or a shoemaker having houses. For instance,
See?
my landlord is a
shoemaker.
carpenter. A carpenter. My landlord.
With a house.
With a big house, a very beautiful house for that matter.
Wow.
So where did he get the money from? He worked hard, and he also had value to what he knew.
Exactly.
We can't be operating old system, and we expect new
things.
Okay. So the man is working. The man is adding value to what he is doing. Very creative. If you see the house, the inside, the way he tiled the in and outside of the house, you'll be very impressed. So because of that, it is being attracted to customers. The day I entered the house, I was able to pay for it at once because I don't want to lose it.
You don't want to see?
So it's very, very important for us to add value to whatsoever we are doing. Whether you are a farmer, whether you are, do it well, do it perfectly, do it beyond imagination, so that people will come.
Exactly.
People will love to be there.
And start thinking of ways to improve whatever you're doing. You cannot be in one position forever. If you're a carpenter, start thinking innovatively. If I'm seeing some nice furnitures in Europe, how can I start making those type of furnitures? We should start thinking about that. And also, I thought about the issue of rape, when people rape. To me, the reason why people rape is because they don't add the necessary value required in themselves to attract the woman they want. Because if you attract the woman is loyal, she can give you anything that you want. But because you want to remain at that level, but you desire a higher caliber of woman, and you are not having it, then you rape the woman. Instead of developing yourself, attract the woman, and then the woman will give you what you want. Is that it caused a lot of problems in society? Yeah, so thank you for that point too. So see, another concept that I learned which changed my life tremendously was a saying that you can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. It is related to this value addition. You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. So this means if you just remain how you are, you always have what you've got. But if you are willing to make changes, maybe the next 5 years will be totally different from the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So if you want things to change, the chances are that you also have to change. Because if you don't change, then the next 6 years of your life will be just like the last 6. You will still be behind of your bills, you will still be behind of your promises, and you find life difficult. And it is from this concept that I was able to develop my own definition of corruption. Because the saying goes like, you can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. Corruption is trying to have more than you've got when you've not become more than you are. So you are still at the same level, but you want to have more than that. And you have not become more than you are now, but you want more than you've already got. That is corruption. That is what causes corruption. I have my diploma, I earn 1.5. I want to renew my diploma and earn what masters and double masters holders earn per month. I want to earn 15 million with my diploma. Yes, that is the problem. That is the problem of corruption. Because if you know the principle that if I want more than what I have now, I need to become more than who I am now, then you will not be led into corruption, because you will always seek value addition. Every day you will try to ensure you're learning something that is adding value to you. Because the people that are earning the 10 million, the 15 million, maybe they are double masters holders, and you want to compare yourself with them. You only have a diploma. If you want to climb up the ladder, become more than you are now, then you have more than you've got. That changed my life. So I said there is no need for me to steal anything. If I even want how many $1,000, I just want to know what I need to do, who I need to become to attract that particular money. Then I know I'll have it at the end of the day. So these are some of the problems, the misconceptions about success leading to corruption. And at times people try to rationalize corruption by saying, well, the person earns 400,000 The person has maybe 4 children, a lot of people to feed every day. So all the person do, the person will have to steal. And if you spread that kind of mentality to people, you are promoting corruption. You are promoting it, because you should be the one to tell the person that if you want things to change, you've got to change. If you don't change, the next 5 years will be just like the last 5 years. That is, if you don't change, things will not change. You should tell that person, and in the 400,000, that if they want to move above that level, they should change. Something should happen. It does not necessarily mean that maybe they should be educated or they should learn, pursue other causes. No. Maybe you are a worker, you earn 400,000. You use that, you start your business. I have a friend in university who started his business with 180,000 euros. 180,000 euros. He bought these Chinese phones. I can remember my brother George Moore took one of them. Chinese phones. He started selling Chinese phones. He was preparing pamphlets for students. He was selling them in the provinces. That guy used that business to fund his entire university course. His name is Emmanuel A. Mahoney. He funded that course, and today as I'm speaking, he has over 40 million. He's already constructing his house. Since we graduated, he has never worked for anybody. He became more than who he was. He started something. He had to move from one point to the other. So he went into business, and today he doesn't even want to work for anybody. He's building his house. I have not even started building mine for now. So it does not have to mean maybe you need to be so educated. Just be very productive. Be productive. Use your time wisely.
Yeah, it's very true. I can use myself as an example. I believe those who know me out there, those who've all attended the same primary and secondary school, they saw the way I used to dress to go to school. They used to call my shoe City Link because life was very, very difficult for me. Even I didn't know that I will even reach a secondary level.
Wow.
But by the grace of God, they will be laughing at me, City Link. But I was very brilliant in school anyway, though I was not having the finance, but I do my best. Okay, I tried very hard, and then I was able to finish my SSS. And luckily, I was doing some odd jobs for me to support myself till I finished my my WASI. Then later, I moved to Ghana. People were laughing at me. How can this succeed? How can this poor girl succeed?
Yes.
But when I went to Ghana too, I just believe in myself. One thing about me, I don't get easily intimidated by anybody.
I love that.
I believe in myself. When I got there, I look for a job
You see?
wherein I will be supporting myself until I am able to pursue my education as well.
Okay.
I really went there to do something different, hairdressing and other jobs.
Okay.
But as time goes on, somebody saw me that I really have the passion for education. And the person said, do you mind registering for this scholarship? I said, what? I was amazed. I didn't know where this help come from, but I believe maybe the person saw it in me. The person sees that I really want to do something. That is why I want to encourage everybody. Don't depend on somebody saying that, oh, let my uncle come and pay for me.
Exactly.
If not, take the step forward. When you take the step forward, somebody will come in to your rescue. I believe that is what happened to me. I was able to get the scholarship, and I entered to the University of Cape Coast in Ghana. Luckily, I have my diploma.
Wow, that's
So
great.
I believe I was not having the means, I was not having the money. My parents are not having the money to pay my school fees. They don't even know how I got there. But today they are proud of me.
Wow.
So that is why we all have to come together as youth and sensitize those who are suffering. Don't say this. I've seen a whole lot of boys out there smoking anyhow and be saying that my parents are not having money, so what do? I have to relax. I don't need to go to school. The government is not doing anything about it. They are blaming government for everything. They are blaming their parents for everything. But they are very strong and healthy. They can do something. Do something. Whether it's a skill work, anything that every human being has a God-given talent.
Yeah, sure.
We are not just here on this earth. God gave us, even in the Bible, Jesus Christ said a story about a master who gave a talent to the boys. He gave them 5 talents for them to work on that talent. Some of them, they couldn't do anything with the talent.
Yes.
But some of them were able to invest. Yes. So we all have talent. We just have to let people know what we have. And I believe...
And see, the problem I see is lack of belief. I read a scripture that changed my life. Ephesians 3:20. Where I learned that I have the power to experience far beyond I can ever imagine, think, or ask for, according to the power that worketh within me. When I learned this, I said, oh, God has told me that I have the power to experience far beyond I can ever imagine, think, or ask for, which means I can become more than my imagination for that matter, according to what is within me. So I said to myself, I'm going to make the best use of what is within me to experience far beyond I can ever think, imagine, or ask for. And this promise was made to all of us. All of us. God promised that we have the power to experience far beyond we can ever imagine, think, or ask for, according to the power that worketh within us, according to what He gave us as Africans. So try to recognize your talent and try to maximize your potential. Stop wasting time. Time is running out. Try to identify your talent and develop them every day to make sure you are getting the very best out of yourself. And like you said, I can remember, because people are not really pushing to succeed. They are sitting down saying, the government. Yes, we know. I can remember I have a friend.
They believe in Brai Bobode.
Yeah, Brai Bobode. I have a friend who went to university at IPAM together with myself. He did not have the money to purchase the firm to enter into university. He did not care. He traveled from Kano. He came to Freetown. He said, I am going to be educated. He managed. He got his form. He was there. Nobody to pay the fees. Absolutely. He was managing. At times he would pay late. And today as I'm talking, this person is almost a qualified accountant. A chartered accountant. So you see, it all depends. We have to push to alter our destiny. We have to make this effort and believe that we can have it the right way. Corruption will forever ruin Africa, and we need to just stop it. Because we've done it for how many years, and of course we are seeing it very clear that it's not bringing change. It's not bringing change at all.
That's very true. And we should also learn to live within our means. Exactly. I can't be sleeping in a single room. Then I have 4 or 5 boys to come in. I bring them, maybe one of my relatives' children from the village to come and stay with me. Yeah. And I can be earning 1 million per month, and then I rent a house which is 1,500,000 per month. So if we don't live within our means, we are actually going into corruption, because with the little that we have, we cannot use it to take care of our daily needs. Yeah. And what we should also think about, we should also always think about our needs than our wants. Mm-hmm. Because we want everything in this world. But our needs are the basic things that that is required of us, which is food, shelter, and clothing. Yeah. These are our needs. But if we are going for iPhones, iPads, we are going for cars that we cannot fuel per day, exactly. Then actually we are going into corruption.
Yeah, and you're very correct. That is the root cause of these problems. And that is why it pains me when somebody tries to rationalize corruption by saying the person earns 400,000 or the person earns 1 million. You're earning 1 million, but you want to live in an apartment that costs, say, 12 million for the year. You want a vehicle. You want everybody to see you to be successful. So you rush to have a vehicle. At the end of the day, you have so much daily expenses that you will not save enough, you will not see yourself growing, and you start thinking, I need to have more. My account is just around this 2-3 million every month. It is because the expenditures are so much. You've put so much on yourself that is beyond what you really earn. So you don't see yourself progressing, and then you start thinking of how you can manipulate to have money. Live within your means. I love that point because I can even remember when I was trying to have my apartment, there were so many options. But I had to go for that one that is within my means. And even as I'm seated, there are so many people who want, Sine, you need to have a vehicle now. You need to have, let's calm down. We don't need to rush these things. I want to live within my means. You understand? I don't want to put myself under so much pressure, make so much financial commitments, and then at the end of the day, I feel like I'm not really saving, my account is small. No, I want to develop myself very well and make sure the foundation is very strong. When I'm there, then I will try to have more than I have now. So I like that point too. Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, I've been your host, Sineti Mojo, and of course my co-host Sia. This is a program from the Perfect Guide for Mankind, that is the PGM, and we want to continue the session. And as I was saying here, another thing I've realized is that it is not really about what we earn that is the problem. It is just this attitude of greed and corruption. Because you find out that even those that have the ministers, that have a lot of resources, they have houses, they have mansions, they still take the money that is supposed to be given to the poor. They still take their money. So it is not really about that. And I've also seen situations where somebody will be in an office as a supervisor, for example, as an officer, and that person will be promoted to manager and to director, but the person will be still stealing. So it is not about 1 million. It is an attitude that we have developed over the years. Maybe from our forefathers. It's not really about that. It has
become a tradition.
A tradition.
As we say, I'm a Mende, so I have to vote for the SA people.
Yes.
I'm a Timni, I have to vote for APC.
It's a mindset issue.
It's just like we believe that is what our forefathers have been doing. So because of that, we also have to follow that
same
path.
thing.
And it's a wrong path we are following. So I believe we have to change all these concepts.
Exactly.
And that is why I love the PGM, wherein he said mindset is everything.
Mindset is everything.
So we have to try and work on our mindset and change all those old ideas, old way of doing things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that is why, to me, when I reflected deeply on the problem, I discovered that no African was born corrupt. Trust me, if you look at Africans who were born in, say, America, let's say Sierra Leonean born in America, they don't know they don't just know because they grew up in a different culture where people believe that they can apply their effort, they can use their gifts and skills to alter their destinies. You understand? So they don't know because it's not in the culture. So they have this belief that you should put in your effort to have what you want. They don't even know what you are talking about, this corruption. They don't know. So the only difference is the culture, where we grew up. The only reason why we think we should steal is because that was what we met people doing, and we grew up in that environment, and we think it is the only way we can succeed. So nobody's born so. No African was born stealing. It's just a habit. I even asked myself, why is it that I made up my mind not to steal? So when I was younger, when I was coming up, I used to have this thinking, which I got from my generation, from my culture, that I should steal before I succeed. So I started thinking, what changed that caused me to believe that I don't need to steal to succeed? So it's the culture, and you need to really think about it to understand it. It's just a cultural problem. It's something we've inherited. It's something we've cultivated, and it's like a norm now in society. But none of us were born that way. And that is why, if we want to change Africa, we need to work on the mindset of people. And that is why the PGM is specifically giving 60% to the younger generation, the children in the schools and communities. And maybe 40% will go to the general public, the elderly people. Because the children are more likely to allow change to happen to themselves, because they are developing. This is the time we should tell them that you should not steal, just add value, you have whatever you want, you live whatever life you want to live. This is the time we should start telling them these things. If we continue, we engage these schools, we engage these communities, we talk to these children, and by the time we take like 20 years, we'll just have a transformed generation into the society. A changed generation with different mindset, believing in self-improvement to have success. So it's just a mindset issue. So we are appealing to all Sierra Leoneans to consider this very positively, and let's start thinking about what we can do. Let's try to add value and see what we can do for society. And see, I would like to use this opportunity to introduce to our viewers the PGM model. Of course, we have ascertained that there are two models in society. The first model is the corruption model, where you try to get what is not yours. You don't want to develop yourself personally, you just want to get there instantly, So with this model, one, you are taking what is not yours, you are stealing. You are risking your job in the second place, because if they catch you in corruption or in fraud, you will be dismissed.
That's right.
You understand? You will be sent to prison if you are not careful. You will lose your respect in society, and you'll be also depriving the poor from receiving their resources, because if you are given a project to implement in a community where poor people are, and you consume the resources, then you're depriving those people. At least those materials will have made a difference in their lives, will have caused them not to go to bed hungry, will have led them to being able to pay the fees of their children. So you are contributing, and most importantly, you are also going against the command of God, because God is saying you should not steal, and you are stealing. So you are going against His principles, and you are not developing a good foundation to make it to heaven. So the disadvantages of the corruption model is so much, and we are here to sell the PGM model to Africans. The PGM model says, try to add value, become more than you are, then you will have whatever you need. And now with this model, firstly, you can even have more than what you can have in the other model, because how many times will you have to wait to steal 20 million in an office? In 3 years, maybe maybe once or twice. How long will you have to wait just to stand by and wait and see the opportunity and steal 30 million? It's waste of time. With our model, you can have more, because if you develop yourself, there is even a possibility of you earning maybe $2,000, $3,000, $10,000, which is very consistent, which is very sustainable. You will have it again and again and again and again for the rest of your life, and you will have developed yourself enough that you can always attract more value from society. Because even if you retire, for example, you can have your consultancy firm, because you have developed yourself over the years. You have the value in you, it will never leave you. So this model is very sustainable, and it is devoid of all the disadvantages I mentioned in the corruption model discussion, because you will not be depriving the poor, because I earn my money genuinely, they pay me well, because I've developed myself over the years. So I will not deprive anyone. I'm going in line with God's will for my life, and I'm not contributing to the problems of society. I will not lose my respect in society. I will never be jailed for corruption or fraud. I will never lose my job. So the risk is so great that it is very clear that it is good for you to opt for the PGM model, where you go for personal development, consistent development. consistently, you develop yourself.
Yes.
And with that, I believe we can all succeed. And we are committed to the success of Sierra Leoneans and Africans all over the world. If you think you want to accept the change challenge or the PGM model that we have presented, but you don't have the necessary knowledge or the skills, the know-how, feel free to contact us anytime on our Facebook page or YouTube channel, or email us at theperfectguideformankind@gmail.com. So I don't know if you have any final word for our viewers.
Thank you very much, Sine. At least you have said it all. There is a place that I wanted to talk about, wherein we talk about developing children.
Wow.
Because they said there is a saying that says charity begins at home,
Exactly.
but does not end there. And there is another saying that says the strongness of a building it depends on the foundation. So we have to start from the root.
Yeah.
That's the children, and the parents should also help us to pass on the information to the children. If we start accepting what the children do, because corruption starts from homes.
From the homes.
What they start doing, if they start stealing, we are not telling them to stop stealing. They continue stealing, and when they continue stealing, when they go to their offices
Tomorrow,
in the next
20 years,
they will steal. So let us train our children in a responsible manner, so that they will not involve in corruption in the near future.
Exactly.
Parents should help in the area of corruption.
Yeah.
We the youth should also help, because our those who are ahead of us, they have already been doing it. But let us make a change.
Let's make a change.
There is always a possibility for a change.
Exactly.
Let us make a change. Those that are coming up, let us try to teach them the way they should grow. Even the Bible says, teach your child the way he or she will grow, so that when they grow up, they will not depart from it. So I believe if we do so, the world will be a better place for us all to live happily. Thank you all for your time, and then we'll leave it.
Thank you. I like that. But maybe viewers would like to know if we would like to follow Sia on social media. What name do you use?
My name is Sia Christiana James on Facebook, Instagram, the same thing. Everywhere, Sia Christiana James
is the name. If you want to
That's
follow.
the name. When you log in, you will just see me.
Yeah, cool. Of course, for me, it's Sineti Mojoy. If you want to contact me on social media, I'm always there. So we thank you all for this session. We thank you for listening to us. We pray and hope that you are inspired by this program, and we look forward to see the day that Africa will transform. And it starts with me and you.